All right, hello. Couple people asked to understand what the steps were to create this or this. I haven't really figured out which way I want to do it. It's a couple things. There's actually a swipe involved, there's a tilt involved, and then I added some cells as well. So what I've got going on right now is a canvas that's been coated with a white mixture of Floetrol and white titanium. So I've covered the whole canvas with it. Not too heavy, but a good coat across the top. I've got my colors picked out. I'm going to use the same colors as these because I absolutely love these colors. There's a couple things that I have next to me that I'm going to use for this. One is probably my favorite paint tool. You know, this is sort of like a report cover. I use it for the swipe. I have a popsicle stick in case that's what I'd like to use. My silicone, I have unicorn art, and it is a bit of a mess because almost everything I have is a bit of a mess. Paint gets everywhere. And then some other tools that'll pop in when I start doing this. So all my colors. My colors run the gamut from folk art to smart paint. I think it's smart paint, whatever. All kinds of acrylic paint mixed also with Floetrol. And some of my paints I like to have a lot more cells in. I have a blue that I really like to have a lot of cells pop, but basically I put a drop or two in a full bottle of paint. So usually it's an entire bottle of craft paint of some sort, and then the rest is Floetrol, and then a couple drops of silicone in there. And that's my normal mix for just about anything that I do. All right, so let's get started putting paint on the canvas. We're going to start with, this is my favorite blue, Prussian blue, and I like to have a lot of extra silicone in this one, which you might see as I'm going through all this. Yes, this is such a difficult technique. It's called splatter. Just splatter it around, not too heavy. Let's see what's next. I'm going to add my other blue. Lately, I've been experimenting with using a dark and a light of the same color, and I'm really liking how it turns out. It seems to make cells look pretty cool. All right, you don't want to have too much paint on this or it turns into a smeary mess. Okay, purple. This is my other, I have so many favorite paints. All of these colors that I'm using are the ones that I have to make on a consistent basis because I love how they look together. They just sort of remind me of a garden. Okay, I need more splatter. I'm going to make this try to turn out like the other one, which means it's not going to turn out like the other one. This is the one thing, I don't know if it's the beauty or the frustration of any type of acrylic fluid art, is that you are not in control. If you think you are, your painting will slap you right down. Last, green. And I don't want to put too much of this on there. Okay, we're going to leave it. I might have done a little bit heavier on the paint, to be honest with you. Take my white, I make a bead across the top, not too heavy. If you make it too heavy, then you're going to white out all your colors. I like to wait a bit, and before I swipe, I like to just get the cells activated a bit. All right, I want that to sit, so I'll talk about other things. This is what I use to spread out my white. It was from someone else's YouTube video. It's an OXO spatula of some sort. I have them in a couple sizes depending on the canvas I use. This is probably the biggest canvas I usually use because with this type of swipe, it dries pretty fast. So I only have so much time to move around and do things. If I take too long, then I've got canvas that's drying on the edges and it's not going to turn out like I want. This I'm going to use a little bit later, and again, this was from somebody's great YouTube video. It's a great way to put paint that you want to apply afterwards, or I use it to dip for when I add the silicone in. So let's swipe go. This in itself, hold on a minute. I've been having a lot of problems with the sides of my canvases drying. So I want that heavier there and here so that I can get what I want coming down. Okay, the way I was taught this, someone else's video, was to lay it down and sort of just lift it up slightly and then create your connection and then pull. I like using the report covers because if you've ever swiped and then you find that you missed a spot after you've used something and you have that, like that green right there, you have a big huge hole in the middle of it. That's interesting. I got some white, not right where I wanted it. All right, let's go with this one. Oh, it's too bad about the white. Oh, you know what? I don't know that I want that happening. All right, try it again. Lift up. This is also tricky because you almost have to try to go the same speed as you did the other one. Okay, so this is the swipe part. I have a little bit I missed, but I sort of like the, I guess I sort of like, I like the colors. There we go. All right, let me clean this. Okay. Done. I'm gonna torch it again. Looks like I'm gonna have lots of great spaces to add silicone. Two things I use to add silicone. One of them is this. I used it in a previous video. I am not using it for this one because I'm doing something a little bit different. So for this one, I'm using a different paint tool. I got this whole set of a whole bunch of different weird types of tools. Weird to me because I'm not really a painter. And I've been able to use them for a bunch of different things, but this is the one we're going to use today to add the silicone. And that's where my shovel comes in. So I take the silicone and I basically draw a bead of it right along in here. And I am a full contact painter, which means I become a mess. So I will be wiping things on myself. I will be wiping things on my apron. Obviously, I have to have an apron. Okay. This one can go that way. You have to wipe it in between, otherwise you're going to be transferring color. Now I'm a little disappointed about all that, so I'm hoping this can at least create something. It will. Oh, I sort of like it. It's like sea glass. And this is just however much you want to do. All right, isn't it? Let's have some more. I go through a lot of silicone. I've tried other things that I've heard, you know, all you guys trying, like some hair things, and they just don't turn out well for me. So I'm stuck using this. Stuck. It's my favorite. It works really well. So why change it if it works well? See, I'm getting it blue in there, which I don't like. I'm gonna keep going a little bit more on this. And then I might have to wipe it all out, which I don't like doing. Yeah, I gotta wipe it out. When it starts, I don't like it when it starts transferring color. So I end up starting over on here. Like I said, I'm a huge silicone waster. Let's get my wrist cleaned off. All right, another bead. So the one I did last night, this isn't something I've done a lot of. I was able to tilt it afterwards and it came out so cool. I just hope that I have enough paint because it's hard with these. You either have way too much paint and then it's a smeary mess, or you don't have quite enough, and then you don't get any tilt out of it. I want to see if I can get some of these to go higher. I'm running out already. All right, let's do that again. I like it. I think I would have liked to have more of that green showing up, but there's always next time. Next time I need to start, I gotta do different colors. I have the worst habit of sticking with the same colors like all the time. I need this to be this way. That's the risk, using my left hand. Ooh, ooh, look at that. Put one there. Okay. They're still sort of coming up. Yeah, I want to go that way. This needs something. Let's put it that way. Where am I missing? Maybe here. Let's put it that way. I don't know what to do with this. I'm tempted to just, let's see if I can do anything with it at all. Makes it look like I meant it, right? Alright, I think I'm sort of maybe done. Let's put, I want it to be, this is just dangerous because I'm not a lefty at all. Oopsie. We got a big old drop of silicone. One of the things with adding silicone is these take a really long time to dry. The silicone just sits on there and I just wait for it. It eventually will run its course. Okay, done. Let me, so these are gonna grow for a little bit. And I can't leave anything alone. So when I started pouring, I initially was just doing the pours and I absolutely loved it. And then I got to a point where I'm like, cannot leave it alone. Okay, we're done with this. Now, I just did the other one last night, so I don't have some great experience with this one. But what I had done to create these little lines is basically use this tool. And I used it going this way, and then I flipped it, and I used it going the other way. There's a lot of choices when you add cells. Sometimes I like to split them. They look a little bit more like a flower then. It doesn't look like I did a lot of splitting of them last night. But let's see where this goes. And we'll try not to get my hair involved. And I'll try not to put my head in front of it so that you can actually see. Okay, nothing exciting going on. I like to grab a little bit of the paint so that I actually get some color. Or I'm gonna follow the line sort of the subdued paint that's got white over it. Because usually you can catch some of it. And then you get the lines. And we just have to hope that I put enough paint on here that it'll tilt. And I need to have these go really long. As you can see, there is no great technique to any of this. I think I would absolutely love to see you guys post what you did. Different variations, you know. This, you can do so much with this. I'm going through it. With, you know, acrylic fluid art, it's just so neat to be able to play with something that's in motion, or that you can create motion out of it, because it's not stuck on a canvas. It's fluid. Okay, this is turning out almost exactly like last night, which is good. Let's just take that piece. See how that looks right there? That I've used in other paintings where it just divides out the cell and it makes it look amazing. Where did I get all that white all over me from? Yeah, I get to be a bit of a paint disaster. And on more than one occasion, I've painted on the weekend, headed off to work, not thinking anything, and my nails are just filled with paint. Not good. I need to pay attention. All right, any shadows? There's a shadow. I don't know, I think I want them right there. All right, I'm gonna flip this. I like to have the angles from both sides, because it helps me see. I really like how many lines I got there. This apron I have on has so much paint on it. I think it could stand in a corner because I wet my hands on it. Oh crap, I'm making banana bread. Well, the timer's upstairs, so let's just hope that I get this done before I burn down my house with a loaf of banana bread. I do want more here, don't I? Yeah. Okay. We are almost ready. This is such a quick one. Okay. So, it was almost by mistake what I did. Next, here, I'll try to do it so you can see it. I did this. And again, it's really subtle. I hope it's not too subtle. I hope I have enough paint. Is it moving? Dude, it's so not moving, is it? Move. It is. Tiny, tiny bit. I can see it moving. It's a pretty high tilt because there's just not that much paint. I go through so much less paint doing this kind of stuff than the traditional pours. Oh my God, that's a lot of paint to go through. All right, it's slowly, slowly creeping downwards. It gives it sort of a smeary look. Nice. Okay. I'm looking at my other ones. Yeah, I had a lot more green in the other one. The bright green. Don't have that in this one. I don't know. Think I'm done? Yeah, I think I'm done. All right, so there's this way or this way, and I will let it sit, be done. Hope that my banana bread is not burned. I hope this helped. I hope it lets you try something new and different while we're sort of all holed up in our houses. If you have any questions, you can just write a comment and I'll answer. Have a great day.